Hey guys, Paul Delos here with Outer Park Baseball 21. We're going to play this series with the Miami Marlins. Now, if you follow me on Twitch, you'll see that I'm playing the Giants on that stream, and that's strictly a Twitch stream special. This series is basically we're going to focus in on Miami Marlins because I like the Marlins personally. They're my favorite NL team because they're such a hot mess, and it's great to me. Um, so it's one of those things where I chose them because they're going to be a big challenge. And everyone's like, why did you choose the Marlins and the Giants? Because you haven't played a lot of out of the park baseball before. Well, for me, playing out of the park baseball, I get a joy out of learning with the hardest challenge possible. So we're gonna go ahead and take these two teams, one on Twitch and one on YouTube, and we're gonna go uphill from there. And we'll learn how to play the game throughout everything else, and we'll try and make some deals, and we'll try and figure out how to play the game. I turned off I cannot be fired because I don't want to get fired in this because I'm still learning the game, and basically I want to kind of play it out and kind of see where I go from there, and we'll see what happens and everything else. And if you have tips, drop them in the comments below, and everything else will go from there. Now, before we get into the team, let's take a look at what our owner goals are. Basically, we're playing out of the box. We're not changing any settings around. We're not going to do any of that. The league can evolve. But basically, it's just out of the box settings. I'm not changing anything because I don't feel like I need to research that right now. So we'll figure that out as time goes on. I did change the Silver Slugger and the Gold Glove awards, so now they're accurate. All right, so let's take a look at the owner goals. So let's go here to Manager's Mail and News. All right, owner goals: play close to 500 balls this season. That's going to be a little hard because the Miami Marlins aren't really built for playing 500 ball. They're not really built well. They're not really built for everything else. They are better than last year's team. I will give them that when we look at the roster, but I don't think playing 500 ball is going to be realistic for this team this year. We'll see. Upgrade at shortstop this season. Well, it's going to be tough because we don't have a lot of tradable assets, and especially since we're building from the ground up. Having trading away prospects to get a shortstop upgrade seems to be a bad move. Find a top 20 prospect. We should be able to do that. We'll figure that out at the trade deadline. We'll see if we can maneuver and kind of get some stuff out of that and build the team up and go to the playoffs in the next 4 seasons. We're going to try to make the playoffs in the next 4 seasons. So that's a little different from my Giants playthrough with 6 seasons, but we'll see what happens from there. We don't have a lot of money to work with, and I think that's the most challenging thing. Unlike the Giants, who have a ton of money to work with in my Twitch playthrough, they have a ton of money. So and we used it. I think I was trying to sign Nick Castellanos. I was in the running for Mookie Betts, and this game is a little different because we can't get those big name free agents. Because if we do, then we're going to put ourselves in a significant budget hole, and we're going to have to raise ticket prices, and it's going to be a hot mess. And I kind of want to see myself what I do with the ticket prices because I want to be able to set my own scouting budget because I want to get better scouting out of my amateur system. So that's what I really set my money to and kind of develop and player development. So we got to focus on those two aspects, especially since we are the Marlins. So we're trying to make one push through over a 6-year span and then dump in year 5. And kind of that's what the strategy is. But making it in the next 4 seasons, we'll see if we can do that. No pressure to do that. Like I said, I turned off being able to be fired because I want to continue the series even if we struggle over multiple seasons and kind of see what we can do. And, YouTube will give me some comments below and kind of help me out a little bit, and that's what I'm anticipating. So let's just jump right in and let's take a look at the roster now. Roster, lineups. Let's take a look at our catcher situation. Jorge Alfaro. Good catcher, decent ability, good arm, good defensive. Like, he's good at catcher, but he doesn't have the good framing ability. Good arm. He hit 262 last year, 312. He slashed 262, 312, and 425. That's not bad. Home run power, strikes out, not a good K rate. So we'll see what we do with him. Probably someone we could trade. Maybe. We'll see what we can get. We got Francisco Cervelli. He's same situation, same thing. Little veteran leadership, but we don't have any veteran leaders. Had looked at the team chemistry before, and it's not good. It's not good. So we have ourselves, Francisco Cervelli, who not as good of a framer. Hit 193 last year for Pittsburgh, so he's not a very good catcher. Like, eye discipline, he's got a good eye, but other than that, nothing good. Jesus Aguilar, who is probably our first baseman. Not bad at first base. decent home run power. Hit 225 last year with 8 home runs. Really had a down year, especially coming off. Had a down year after 2018 where he hit 25 homers and had 108 RB, 35 homers and had 108 RBI. So last year he only had 12 homers, so it's a down year from that. But we're hoping that we can get some production out of him. 2020 he's arbitration. Don't think I want to re-sign him, but we'll see. We'll see about that. We'll see. I mean, he's 29 years old. He's kind of old, and we kind of want to open the door for. We'll take a look at our minor league prospects in a second. Eddie Alvarez. Nothing special here. Played AAA last year. Hit 323. Speedy guy. Should compete for the starting second base job. Not really decent guy. Not great. Asan Diaz, probably the starting second baseman who played in majors last year. He played in 49 games. Not great over his first sample, but it's a small sample over 49 games. He had 179 at bats, and he slashed 173, 259, 307. So, probably the starting second baseman. We'll see what he does over the course of a full season. Hopefully, he develops into something that we can use or something we could trade. And basically, that's the thing, is that we got to look at these guys as assets to trade or assets to build around. And he's 23, so he's probably closer to what we'll build around rather than trade. Miguel Rojas is our shortstop. He walks a lot. And last year for us, he basically slashed 284, 331, 379. Doesn't walk a lot, walks a lot, and has good contact, but he doesn't have a good eye or home run power. So he's either a leadoff or a 8-hole hitter. And that's where it's going to be Dong Mattingly. We'll see what he does. Basically, we'll see what Mattingly does with this team. We're going to build it. We're just playing as a GM. So basically, we're not managing lineups and everything else. So we'll go from there. Kori Dickerson. Decent guy. He had a good year last year he had a decent year last year, and he hit between two stints. He hit about 280 slash, and he had 12 homers and 50 ribbies, and we'll see what happens when he plays a full course of the season, when he plays a full year as a player and everything else. Let's take a look at these awards. He was a Gold Glover in 2018 and an All-Star in 2017. So he's 30 years old though. $8 million, and he's a free agent, so he's probably being moved at the trade deadline. Matt Kemp, same thing. Got him for a minimum contract here. And basically he didn't do so well last year, so he's a rebuilding project, and we'll see what he does. Man, Matt Kemp really falling off here. We'll see what he does. So basically we have three guys competing for the left field job between Matt Kemp, Kori Dickerson, and this guy, Harold Ramirez. Harold Ramirez is 25, probably the biggest upside of everyone else. Last year he played in 119 games. He hit 11 homers, 50 ribbies, and hit 276, 312, and slugged 416. Yeah, I don't know. That one's kind of interesting to see what happens in our left field position. Center field, we have two guys. We have John Birdie. Last year he played a lot, but he's a decent guy. 30 years old though. Good backup. And then Jonathan Villar, same situation. Last year he hit 274, 339, 453. He stole 40 bases. It's whatever. That's the thing. It's whatever, and it's not anything special. And this team, very much like the Giants, offensively challenged. Offensively challenged is what I'm seeing here already. And then Matt Joyce and right, good eye, decent walk rate. Last year his OBP was 408. Last year in Atlanta, so a decent home run powers, and he's 35 years old though, and that's what we gotta look at, is that age and see who take him. Pitching is where I think the strength of this team is, because we look at our starters. We look at Pablo Lopez, very good player. Pablo Lopez. I mean, look at his stuff. He has decent stuff in movement, good control with a 70 plot with a 70 potential, 65 curveball, 65 fastball, 60 changeup. That's solid. That's a solid starter. That's a solid starter right there. Then you got Caleb Smith, who's our lefty, and same thing, changeups to 75. No control, a little less on the control and movement than Pablo, and 65 and 60, and good stuff. So he allowed 33 home runs last year, and ooh, that's rough. 33 home runs. Ooh. Had a 4.52 ERA. That probably holds because we're just not good offensively, and we're gonna be losing a lot of games. Sandy Alcantara has 5 pitches, but changeup not is developing his potential 50 slider. Everything's potentially good here. Movement's good. Stuff with a 65 fastball. He could be really good. He could be really good. He was an all-star last year. Let's see how this goes. And Jordan Yamamoto, which is the latest addition. Yamamoto, man, this is where last year was 4-5 with a 4.46 ERA. Good stuff, 60, 45 control movement, and then 70 changeup potential out of 20-80. That's pretty good. We're looking at a good rotation here. Bullpen. We gave away Nick Anderson, and imagine if Zach Gallen was on this team. If Zach Gallen was on this team, then we really have a good base to go with. So we look at our bullpen. We go with Trevor Rogers, our long man. Decent long man, nothing special. Yami Garcia, another just middle relief guy. Nothing special. Dylan Lee, lefty specialist. Oh God, this bullpen's atrocious. Yeah, this middle relief is really going to be a struggle here. Drew Steckenrider, 29 though. Ryan Stanek, 28 though. Brandon Kinsler is like 35. He's closing. Bullpen not looking good. Not looking good. We need to. But bullpen, to be fair, is the easiest place to improve because there's so many good relievers out there, and there's so many good relievers out there that we can probably trade for some. But yeah, let's get to the good things. Let's get to the good part, which is let's take a look at the minor league system rankings. We are currently ranked 17th. We're 17th in minor league rankings. And top prospects, JJ Bleday. JJ Bleday is 22 years old, and he plays in Double A, I believe. High A. He's in High A. He is decent. He's not... if he develops into something great, good. Last year he had 257. He had, college he had 363. Pretty solid. He's our top prospect. Sixto Sanchez is our top pitching prospect, and Sixto is, he's got a lot of good stuff to him. He got good stuff, decent movement, good control, fastball developing. He's in Double A right now. Sinker's developing, curveball's developing, changeup. If he develops, he could be a pretty good. He could be another one of those good rotation guys. We don't have like a clear-cut ace, and I think that's what really is lacking from the development process is we don't have an ace. And we're going to have to find an ace and find one and draft one and develop one and everything else. And that's really where the long game comes to play. And then we have Jazz Chisolm, which is, decent home run hitter, really with the decent home run hitter, but needs to work on contact and gap power and avoid decays and eye and discipline. He's a shortstop. We'll see what we get out of him. I'm not really holding my breath. Monty Harrison, another guy whose potential was through the roof, but now it's like kind of fading a little bit. Look someone we can trade probably. Everything else is kind of meh. Will Blanfield, yeah. Nick Neidhart. Good reliever. Huh. That's a reliever. That's not a starter. Neidhart's not a starter. In fact, let's see what our scouting report says. Back end of the rotation. Yeah, reliever. But yeah, that's the introduction of our team. So, but yeah, we'll start it up. We'll start up shortly, and we'll. But for now, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button below us, and we'll catch you guys later.